Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitangscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhuvayeva Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnaveva Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshutarine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manish. So we are discussing the 16th chapter.
Please get me my Bhagavad Gita. Get it yourself.
Hare Krishna. Kana, your video is off and your audio is on. You should do the reverse. So 14th chapter, we discussed about the three modes. And 15th chapter speaks about Urdhvamulam Adha Shakam, the upper and the lower branches. Those who are in the mode of goodness, they are divine, and those who are influenced by the mode of passion and ignorance, the demoniac propensities are exhibited. So this is the connection. In 15th chapter, Lord Krishna described the banyan tree of the material world. The modes of material nature nourish both the upper, auspicious, divine branches of the tree and also the lower demonic branches. So which mode will nourish which one? The mode of sattva will nourish the upper modes, and the lower ones is rajas and tamas. Chapter 16 also explains the demoniac qualities and the mentality which drives one lower on the tree and ultimately to hell. So since the time of creation, there have been two types of men. Dva bhots sargo loke asmin deva asura evacha Vishnu bhakta smritau deva asurastad viparyaya. There have always been, since the time of creation, there have been two classes of men in the created world. One consists of the demonic and the other of godly. As we have heard, or you may know, previously, the divine and the demoniac were far distant. In the Satyayuga, the divine used to reside in the heavenly planets. That is the Devas. And the Asuras, they used to be in the subterranean planets. So like Bali Maharaj used to fight. So they had to go all the way to the heaven to be able to fight with the divine people. So there were a lot of distance. The planets were different. The divine were in the higher planets and the demonic were in the lower planets. But as the yuga changed from Satya Yuga, what was the next yuga? Treta. The difference was reduced. The divine and the demoniac came on the same planet, but they were separated by different continents. Lord Ram was in Ayodhya and Ravan was in Lanka. So they were separated. The sea was separating them. But as the yuga changed, the distance even reduced. Leave apart the different continents, they became in different cities. They came very close. Krishna is in Vrindavan and Kamsa is in Mathura. But in Kali Yuga, the distance has been completely, reduced. The divine and the demoniac reside in the same person, in the same heart. There is no difference. So it is very important for a practitioner that if he is not acting based on the divine attributes, on the divine qualities, then there is all possibilities what will manifest is the demonic propensities. What is the difference? How the person is divine and the demoniac? On the basis of Vishnu Bhakta Smritau Deva. We have so many times discussed that divine means that those who are obedient to the Supreme Lord. And demoniac means that those who oppose or those who are rebellious. They are called demons. This is a verse from the Padma Puran. Vishnu Bhaktas who are devotees in Krishna consciousness are known as Devas. Atheists who do not believe in God or who always declare themselves God are Asuras. Asuras always engage in atheistic material activities, exploring ways to utilize the resources of matter to enjoy sense gratification. The Vishnu Bhaktas, Krishna conscious devotees are also active, but their objectivity is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotional service. There is one verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is a very heavy verse, what we were discussing. It is in the 7th chapter only. That those who are even Vishnu Bhaktas, those who are even worshipping Saligram, but if they do not consider Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and if they do not perform devotional service, they are still Asuras. You want to see that verse? Very heavy verse. One moment. And the example is given of Jarasandha. This is in continuing to the glories of Panchatattva. It is in the 8th chapter of Adi Lila. Kaviraj Goswami is saying, Ei sabnamane yeva kare Krishna bhakti, Krishna kripa nahi tar gati. One who does not accept the glories of the Panchatattva, but still makes a show of devotional service to Krishna, can never achieve the mercy of Krishna or advance to the ultimate goal. That we have discussed. How important. So our worship, our obeisances, everything becomes success, everything becomes complete when we take shelter of the Panchatattva. Similarly, then Kaviraj Goswami gives an example. What is the example he cites? This is the example. He says, Purve Yajñaś Jarasandha Adi Rajagana Veda Dharma Kari Kare Vishnura Pujana. Formerly, kings like Jarasandha, the father-in-law of Kamsa, strictly followed the Vedic rituals, thus worshipping Lord Vishnu. In this verse, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, is very seriously stressing the importance of worship of Panchatattva. If one becomes a devotee of Gaur Sundar or Krishna but does not give importance to the Panchatattva, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta, his activities are considered to be offenses, or in other words, or in the words of Srila Rupa Goswami, Utpat, disturbance. One must therefore be ready to offer due respect to the Panchatattva before becoming a devotee of Lord Gaur Sundar or Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Further, Krishna nahi mane tate daitya kari mani Chaitanya namini le taiche daitya tareni. One who does not accept Krishna, the Supreme Person of Godhead, is certainly a demon. Similarly, anyone who does not accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Krishna, the same Supreme Lord, is also considered to be a demon. Now comes the point. Formerly, there were kings like Jarasandha who strictly followed the Vedic ritual, acted as charitable, competent Kshatriya, possessed all Kshatriya qualities, and were even obedient to the Brahmanical culture, but who did not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Jarasandha attacked Krishna many times, and each time, of course, he was defeated. Like Jarasandha, any man who performs Vedic rituals but does not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead must be considered an asura or demon. Similarly, one who does not accept Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Krishna himself is also a demon. This is the conclusion of authoritative scriptures. Therefore, both so-called devotion to Gaur Sundar without devotional service to Krishna and so-called Krishna Bhakti without devotional service to Gaur Sundar are non-devotional activities. If one wants to be successful on the path of Krishna consciousness, he must be thoroughly conscious of the personality of Gaur Sundar as well as the personality of Krishna. Knowing the personality of Gaur Sundar means knowing the personalities of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda. The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, pursuant to the authority, stresses this principle for perfection in Krishna consciousness. Very important. Very, very important. We should not think that we are very divine, because the divine and the demoniac are inside. In Kali Yuga, both of them reside inside the heart. So to the extent we are submitting to the parampara system, if we are not submitting to the parampara system, if we are not following the Panchatattva, we are not devotees. Have you seen this? Read it 100 times. Read it 100 times. Misconception need to be clear. I went to Ahar exhibition 2 days back, and I met one preacher, so-called very successful preacher, who has left ISKCON and he has started his own. With me there was a senior devotee who was his friend, old friend. So both of them met and I was also there. And then he started to propagate his own cult. So I asked him only one question. I asked him, what does parampara mean? What it means to be in parampara. If you do not follow the disciplic succession, you are not in parampara. And why people refuse to follow the disciplic succession? Because ego is cut. Sense gratification tendency is cut. So they don't want to follow. So very heavy, very, very heavy statement. Please, if those who are really serious, I have given you where it is. It is Adi Lila. Again, I'll give you the reference. Did someone note which were the verses?
So, see, 8.7 to 8.9.
Yeah. See, Jarasandha, he had Shaligram Shila, was worshipping Vishnu. But he is a demon. And Prabhupada is very clearly warning here. And Prabhupada is not warning, Prabhupada is stating his, quoting Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Very important that we should not get distracted, deviated, or degraded. Okay, so Divine and demoniac both in Kali Yuga are inside. To the extent we are strictly following the path, the process, the parampara, we are divine. And as soon as we deviate, the same person is demon. Is it sinking in? Andar ja raha hai kuch? So we have to be very alert of the demon which is inside. And again, it will manifest. And it is so dangerous because we will think we are divine. So asuras always engage in atheistic material activities. As soon as we engage in material activities, asur. Exploring way to utilize the resources of matter to enjoy sense gratification, asur. The objective is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotional service. That is the bhakta. Asur swabhave Krishna kabhu nahi jani lukaite nare Krishna bhakta jana sthane. Those whose nature is demonic cannot know Krishna at any time. That is for asuras. But for devotees, he cannot hide himself from his pure devotees. It's from Chaitanya Charitamrita. People who develop the nature of asuras like Ravan and Hiranyakashipu can never know Krishna, the personality of Godhead, by challenging the authority of Godhead. But Sri Krishna cannot hide himself from his pure devotees. This is from 1 minute. This is from Adi Leela 390. So this is the overview. The first 6 verses talks about transcendental and demoniac qualities. Then if you see, actually this entire chapter is focused on the demoniac qualities. In the first 6 chapter, only first 3 verses are talking about divine qualities. And the rest is all talking about demonic nature. And the final section from 19 to 24 talks about the results of the demonic activities. What happens to them? So we are covering the first 3 verses. So these are the 26 divine qualities. Okay, this we will cover later. So we discuss the first 3. Abhayam, Sattvam, Saṁśuddhir and Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti. So material nature, the modes means bhaya. There will always be fear. Material existence means fear. And as one elevates from the material existence, he comes to the spiritual platform, he becomes free from fear. Okay. So we will move ahead in the purport. Now the next item after Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti is Dānaṁ, Damaś, Yajñaś, Svādhyāyas, Tapa, Ārjavam. The 4th item is charity. The next item is charity. You see in the purport, it is in my book, page number 659. Charity is meant for the householders. Why? Because in brahmachari life, they don't earn. Brahmachari means he lives under the shelter of the guru in the ashram. And what he does? He begs. On the instruction of the gurus, he goes outside to beg. And because he is the servant of his spiritual master, of his guru, whatever he brings by begging, he does not consider it that this belongs to him. This belongs to Guru. Because on the instruction of Guru, he went out to beg. Similarly, in Krishna consciousness, if we go out to bring donation, we should never ever think that this belongs to me. This belongs to our spiritual authorities. This belongs to Srila Prabhupada. This is that person whom I am saying. He has become a big name now. He teaches Gita. Very famous. If you go to Braj, you will see big hoardings of his. And he was telling us that he has secured a big land and he is going to make some education institution there, this and that. And he was telling me, मैं ISKCON वाले किसी donor के पास नहीं जाता हूँ पैसा लेने. लोग मेरे पास खुद आते हैं पैसा देने. So I told him, I didn't say much because he is very senior to me. But I was speaking with the other Prabhuji that whatever he is getting because of Srila Prabhupada, because of ISKCON. What does ISKCON mean? It means Srila Prabhupada. And he is thinking that that property is his. It is because of him that so much donation is coming. Never ever. Never. What is our face value? What is our existence? So charity is meant for the householders. Why? Because householders actually earn. Brahmachari is a beggar, a sannyasi is a beggar, and Vanaprastha is also dependent. They don't earn. They just beg if it is required. So how can they give charity? If nothing belongs to them, how can they offer anyone? So because the householder is in genuine process of earning, so this is his item that he can give charity. So it is mentioned here that charity is meant for the householders. And if you see in the Vedic system, why it is said that one gives 50% charity? Because the householder who is earning, he maintains the other three ashrams. He maintains the brahmachari ashram, he also maintains the sannyas ashram. The vanaprastha are also dependent on the grahastha. Grahastha is the only ashram where one earns. That is why Mahaprabhu was asking Shiva's Pandit that I don't see you earning. So how will you maintain? How will you sustain a big family? The householder should earn a livelihood by an honorable means. This is very important. If you try to earn by foul means, by cheating, the karma will be very heavy. And it will bind you, and not just bind you, it will grind you. Not only in this life, for many lives to come. Karma, the carrier is money. The most formidable carrier of karma is money. Once in Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, one businessman came and he donated some amount to Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj. And when he left, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj asked his servant Bihari, you call that person back. And when he came back, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj gave the money back. He said, I cannot bear the load. It is very heavy. I cannot bear the burden of this karma. Better you take it back. That is the position of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Paramhans. So please never ever try to accept money. It is a very big trap. If you have earned it by honorable means by being fair, without cheating, without manipulation. Unfair means if the money, anyway money will leave. Lakshmi is always chanchala. She will never stay without Narayan. She will never ever stay. But what she will leave that karma with you for you to suffer. So don't follow what the other foolish people are doing. Here Prabhupada is warning us that if you are in householder life, so I'm very happy. That is why I tell my students, those who are in IALI, you are very, very safe, very, very secure. At least you don't have to do all cheatings, what business people do, or even in job people do. They speak all pack of lies. They misrepresent, they manipulate, they cheat. At least you don't have to do that. Teaching job or research job is a job where the predominance of mode of goodness is there. Business means there has to be manipulation. All kind of unfair policies, all kind of unfair practices. Why? Because if you don't cheat, you cannot earn. So Prabhupada is saying that householders should earn a livelihood by honorable means and spend 50% of their income to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. Well, both the conditions are there. It should be by honorable means and 50% should be spent for Krishna consciousness. Then only you can be relieved from the karma. If you do not do that, be ready. Be ready, the share of karma will be there with you. It is there with everyone. It will be lesser with you as compared to the other, but it will be there with you. So better you give it voluntarily. Those who are intelligent will give it voluntarily. Those who are foolish will undergo severe punishment and ultimately the money will leave. Thus, a householder should give in charity to institutions, society that are engaged in that way. Charity should be given to the right receiver. This is also very important. We should find out. Otherwise, if you give charity to a wrong person, then again you are inflicted with karma. So charity should be given to the right receiver, Prabhupada is saying here. There are different kinds of charity, as will be explained later on. I was told by my one devotee friend that he went and stayed in one dharamshala. You visited dharamshalas? In the places of pilgrimage, there are many dharamshalas. Like if you go to Ayodhya, if you happen to go to Ayodhya, if ISKCON temple is not there, where we will stay? We will stay in some dharamshala or guest house. So in that dharamshala, there was a fan. And on the fan, if you see in the dharamshala, the name, big name is mentioned on the blade. Who has donated or sponsored it? But there was no switch to run the fan. You could not run the fan. So he went and asked the person who was the manager there, कि प्रभुजी पंखा कैसे चलेगा? बोला पंखा चलेगा तो जो लिखा है वो दिखेगा नहीं. So that is the purpose of giving charity. That is their mode of ignorance. So no benefit will be done. So Prabhupada is explaining here. When we come to the 17th chapter, it will come. Even in the 18th chapter, it will come. 18th chapter, that charity is also in three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Charity in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. It will be explained later on. Charity in the mode of goodness is recommended by the scriptures. But charity in the mode of passion and ignorance is not recommended. Passion means he wants name fame. He wants the people to know. And ignorance means that he does damage to others. But Prabhupada is again emphasizing, he says, but charity in the mode of passion and ignorance is not recommended because it is simply a waste of money. Charity should be given only to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. That is charity in the mode of goodness. If you see the 17th chapter, Prabhupada, Krishna is speaking. Desh kale cha patre cha tad dānaṁ satvikam smitam. Charity given out of duty, kana? Again, you have become invisible. And can you be stable? Huh? Open 1720. Quickly. I'll give you one example. Okay, you open. 20. Yes. Charity given out of duty without expectation of return. This is the foremost condition. That charity should be given out of duty, without being asked or without having expectation of return. At the proper time and place, to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness. Come down to the purport. Vedic teaches charity given to a person engaged in spiritual activities is recommended. There is no recommendation for giving charity indiscriminately. Spiritual perfection is also a consideration. Therefore, charity is recommended to be given at a place of pilgrimage and at lunar or solar eclipse at the end of the month, or to a qualified Brahmana or a Vaishnava devotee or in a temple. Such charity should be given without any consideration of return. Charity to the poor is sometimes given out of compassion. But if a poor man is not worth giving charity to, then there is no spiritual advancement. In other words, indiscriminate charity is not recommended in the Vedic literatures. Okay, you can close. The important aspect is one should give charity as a duty without expectation of return. Okay, close it. Kanapu. Close the screen. When Prabhupada started the movement in America and New York, you know who was the first president of our first temple in New York? Anyone knows? You not read Lilamrit? None of you have read Lilamrit. Prabhupada Lilamrit. It was His Grace Brahmanand Prabhu. And Brahmanand Prabhu was so dedicated. Brahmanand Prabhu and his brother Gorga Muni. Prabhupada used to call them Rup Sanatan. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had Rup Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. And Brahmanand Prabhu is the same personality who got Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is printed also. He did many things. So he donated his life's saving to Prabhupada. Big amount at that time. More than $5,000. Whatever he had in his life, he gave it to Prabhupada. So that Prabhupada could propagate Krishna consciousness. Just after donating, in a few days' time, he wanted Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada had taken out a new volume of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Brahmanand Prabhu asked Prabhupada to sign and give one copy of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada very willingly gave one copy of Srimad Bhagavatam, and when he was receiving the copy, Prabhupada told him $10. You have to pay $10 the price of this Srimad Bhagavatam. And Brahmanand Prabhu felt as if he has been bitten by snakes all over his body. He said, what is this? I have given my life savings, my life earning to this man, which is thousands of dollars. And in return, I am asking one book. And he's saying you have to pay for it. And actually, Brahmanand Prabhu, he went back. He again joined the job. In his memories, he speaks. And he earned and he paid Prabhupada for the value of books. Prabhupada said, okay, you can take now, but pay later. So this is what it means, giving charity without expectation. You have no right. Don't think that you have done any favor. Otherwise, don't give. Keep it with you. It is in the mode of passion. Once Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was giving a lecture And Prabhupada was also there in the class. So amongst his audience, there was one person who was very rich and he used to give some donations to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, as you all know, was very strict. So while Maharaj was speaking, he found that person who was giving donation is speaking to someone else in the class. And immediately Maharaj made him stand up and leave the class. And Maharaj told him, by giving donation, you have not purchased me. So why I am speaking all this? Because as the principle is that if you donate from the right hand, even the left hand should not know. We should never ever consider that we have done any favor to anyone. It is for our own purification. It is for our own advancement. It is for our own security measure to be saved from the forces of karma. And it should be given to the right person for the right cause. And here Prabhupada is specifically mentioning for the propagation of Krishna consciousness, not for someone's personal sense aggrandizement. Never. That is why I recommend all of you that kindly please consult. Because if you are donating for this purpose, for propagation of Krishna consciousness, then it is first class. It will liberate. And if it is not, then Prabhupada is saying it is useless. Charity in the mode of passion and ignorance is not recommended because it is simply a waste of money. Then the next item is Dānaṁ, self-control. It is not only meant for others' order of religious society. Dhamma is meant for sannyasi. He has to be very controlled. No, it is for everyone. Prabhupada is saying it is not only meant for other orders of religious society, but especially meant for the householder. This is all again for the householder, predominantly. Why? Although he has a wife, a householder should not use his senses for sex life unnecessary. Because in other ashrams, they don't have this facility. Neither the brahmachari nor the sannyasi. Even in one press, husband and wife, they live separately. They don't unite. So where this self-control or self-restraint has to be exercised in the householder life. There are restrictions for the householder even in sex life. We should only be engaged in for propagation of children. If it does not require children, he should not enjoy sex with his wife. Then Prabhupada points, modern society enjoys a sex life with contraceptive methods or more abominable methods to avoid the responsibility of children. This is not in the transcendental quality, but is demoniac. If anyone, even if he is a householder, wants to make progress in spiritual life, he must control his sex life. And should not beget a child without the purpose of serving Krishna. If he is able to beget children who will be Krishna conscious, who will be in Krishna consciousness, he can produce hundreds of children. But without this capacity, one should not indulge only for sense pleasure. This is the principle, very high principle. When Prabhupada was preaching in America and Europe, there's so many Americans used to come to Prabhupada and they said, you just remove one condition. What is the condition? This condition of illicit sex or sex only for procreation. And Prabhupada said, it is not possible. And as we become, how to know that we are becoming Krishna conscious? Two things we can see. One, how much the sex desire is going down. Very clear. If the sex desire is going down, that means purification is happening. Because you see, in the second quality also, Ahiṁsā sattva-saṁśuddhir. What was saṁśuddhir? Was talking about sex life only. Because the entire material creation evolves or revolves around this only one thing, that is the sex pleasure. So if one is advancing, that means he is not interested in sex life. And second, how much the envy in the heart is going down. How much one is not feeling envious of others. These are the two prominent yardsticks. So one can know whether he is advancing or he is not. So here it is being said that this householder, what he has to do, he has to practice self-control. When we were in the third chapter, Prabhupada gives a very, very revolutionary purport. Did anyone notice that? Talks about the same aspect, talks about the same principle. Does anyone know which verse in the third chapter? In third chapter, Krishna is also explaining about lust. He gives a detailed discourse about lust. Anyway, I will not take it today, but it is there. So householder life does not mean that one can engage. Householder life means even more difficult. Srila Bhakti Sansvarji Thakur used to say that brahmachari life, sannyasi life is much easy. It's more difficult in householder life because you have the resource available with you all the time. Why Bhishma Dev was considered to be such a strong in vow that he will remain brahmachari? There are so many brahmacharis, that all these sages are brahmachari throughout their life. What is so big about it? Why they were not said that, that such a big vow? Why only Bhishma Dev? Why not the sages? Why not the rishis, the tapasvis? Why they were not considered? Like the vow which was taken by Bhishma Dev. So many brahmacharis take vow that they will never marry or they will never allow any woman to come in their life. Why only Bhishma Dev is so much regarded and so much respected for this vow? Because he had all the facility. In the midst of everything, he could still be detached. He could still be unaffected. He could still be not influenced by this very strong urge. So we have to restrain, we have to control. How? As we grow in Krishna consciousness, as we receive this spiritual rasa, we have distaste for this lower rasa, which is this sex pleasure. And this sex pleasure is available to every species of animal, is it not? Every species does sex. How you can be, and what it means? Means bodily conception. Through the body is the means to enjoy. So here the principle is that you can only unite even in among husband and wife if you want to have a Krishna conscious child. And Prabhupada is warning, whoever is using contraceptive, he's a demon. Clearly. Next item is sacrifice. Dānaṁ, Damaś, Yajñaś, Yajña. Sacrifice is another item to be performed by the householder. So first three was for a sannyasi. Abhayam, sattvam, saṁśuddhir and jnana yoga vyavasthiti. And now it is Dānaṁ, Damaś, Yajñaś. Although yajna is performed by all, but what is the yajna? Why it is being mentioned for householder? Because sacrifice requires a huge amount of money. And The other three ashram holders do not have. Those in other order of life, namely brahmacharya, vanprastha and sannyas, have no money. It means any person who is claiming to be in this order of brahmachari, sannyas and vanprastha, if he has money, is actually not in that ashram. He is bogus. They live by begging. The brahmachari means beggar. Sannyasi means beggar. Even vanprastha means beggar. So performance of different types of sacrifice is meant for the householders. They should perform Agnihotra sacrifice as enjoined in the Vedic literature. But such sacrifices at the present moment are very expensive. And it is not possible for any householder to perform them. The best sacrifice recommended in the age is called Sankirtan Yajña. The Sankirtan Yajña, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is the best and most. 1 minute. So three things: Yajña, Dānaṁ and Tapa. It is there for everyone, but it is more so required in the householder life, because householder life, there is all possibility of deviation and deterioration. How to remain on the spiritual platform? By observing these divine qualities. So simple is to perform the Sankirtan Yajña. Is the best and most inexpensive sacrifice. Everyone can adopt it and derive benefit. So these three items, namely charity, sense control, and performance of sacrifice, it comes perfectly. It is Yajña, Dāna, and Tapa. Sense control is tapasya. Are meant for the householders. Prominence is householder, but it is for everyone. Especially so for the householder life. So householder life means a life of responsibility. A householder life means a life of discipline and regulation. Otherwise, it is like animal life, where there is no discipline, there is no regulation. So we covered the first verse. No, still there are other items. Svādhyāyas, Tapa, Ārjavam. That is also part of the first verse. Svādhyāyas. Swa means self, and Adhyaya means study. Study of scriptures in particular. Then Svādhyāya is Vedic study. Is meant for brahmachari or student life. Brahmachari should have no connection with women. They should live a life of celibacy and engage the mind in study of Vedic literatures for cultivation of spiritual knowledge. This is called Svādhyāya. It is there for everyone, but it is more prominent from the brahmachari, because brahmachari, that is the occupational duty, is to do Vedic study. And if one is not doing Vedic study, he is not in brahmachari life. He is only making a fool of himself. What can he fool anyone else? We cannot fool anyone else. We can only fool ourselves. The next item is tapas, or austerity. Damaś and tapas. Damaś is self-control. Prominently, Prabhupada talked about controlling the sex urge. And tapasya or austerity is especially meant for the retired life. That is vanprastha. One should not remain a householder throughout his whole life. Also very important. There should be an exit plan. Not that Yamraj comes and pulls us out. Of course, for devotees, there is no Yamraj. But there should be an exit plan. If you enter into the household life, there has to be an entry plan, and there also has to be an exit plan. He must always remember that there are 4 divisions of life: Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanprastha, and Sannyas. So after Grihastha, householder life, one should retire. If one lives for 100 years, he should spend 25 years in student life, 25 in householder life, and 25 in retired life. So maximum permitted householder life is 25. Ideally speaking. Not more than that. There are the regulations of the Vedic religious discipline. A man retired from householder life must practice austerities of the body, mind, and tongue. It will come more in the 17th chapter. What is the austerity of the mind? What is the austerity of the body and tongue? That is tapasya. The entire varnashram dharma society is meant for tapasya. Without tapasya or austerity, no human being can get liberation. Very clear. The theory that there is no need of austerity in life, that one can go on speculating and everything will be nice, is recommended neither in the Vedic literature nor in Bhagavad Gita. Such theories are manufactured by show bottle spiritualists. Dikhawti log. Show bottle spiritualists who are trying to gather more followers. So in Kali Yuga, such foolish people who will cheat others, they will say that there is no rules, there is no regulation. You can do whatever you want. But what you have to do, time to time you come and you offer me some offering, some dakshina. So Prabhupada is saying, so these are show bottle spiritualists. If there are restrictions, rules and regulations, people will not become attracted. Prabhupada is very practical. He knows if there are restrictions, rules and regulations, people will not become attracted. Therefore, those who want followers in the name of religion, just to have a show only, don't restrict the lives of their students, nor their own. But that method is not approved by the Vedas. The human life is a life of restraint. It's a life of discipline. It's a life of regulation. Else, as I said, it is the same, like any other species of life. Then the next item is Ārjavam. Ārjavam means simplicity. As far as Brahmanical quality of simplicity is concerned, not only should a particular order of life. Thank you. So another very important aspect is simplicity. What does simplicity mean? Without duplicity. Simple. If you are duplicitous means not speaking the truth, or trying to hide the truth, or speaking in such a way that you don't reveal the real truth. Sorry. Can you hear? Is the connection restored?
Yes,
Bolo,
yes,
yes.
Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay. So one should know how to speak the facts. without misrepresentation. So, simplicity means one is Brahmanical. I spoke about that character, that Satyakam. Did I speak about Satyakam, Prabhu? That Satyakam, he was a village boy, and when he grew up, he went to one hermitage of a rishi and requested him to accept him as a student and train him and teach him in Vedas. And the Guru says that I only accept Brahmanas, those who are Brahmanical. Are you a Brahman? And Satyakam is simple, Ārjavam. He said, my dear sir, I do not know. So the sage said that go and ask your mother and come back. If you are Brahman, then you come back. If you are not, then don't come back. Why? Because Vedas are only for Brahmanas. Brahmanas means whose intelligence is very sharp, is very refined. They can only understand Vedas, others cannot. So he went and asked his mother, that mother, my teacher is asking me that what is my caste? Am I Brahman or am I some other caste? And his mother was forced into prostitution. And she said, my dear boy, I do not know who your father is. So I don't know. And this boy, he went and told his teacher what he heard from his mother. That, my dear sir, my mother is telling me that she does not know who my father is. So he was accepted. That saint accepted him. He said, my dear boy, you must be Brahman, because you are speaking the truth without changing it. And he accepted him as his disciple, and he was named Satyakam. You know the story of Karna, no? Karna learned the art of martial art from, you know, from whom he learned? Who was his guru? Of course not. Yeah.
Parshuram. Prabhuji.
Parshuram. And Parshuram ji was having such anger and rage against the Kshatriyas. And he would only teach only to the Brahmanas. So he was himself a Brahmana. And Karna disguised himself as a Brahmana and begged him to teach. And he learned the art, but one day, when his guru was resting on his lap, one forest insect came and bit Karna. And Karna started to profusely bleed from his body. But he went on tolerating. And when Parshuram woke up, he saw all blood pool around him. And he said, hey, Karna, what you did? Why didn't you tell me? And then he immediately pointed out. He said, you cannot be a Brahmana. You are not a Brahmana. You must be a Kshatriya. Because a Brahmana is weak in his bodily structure, in his bodily tolerance. He is soft. So you have lied against me. And you have tried to receive this knowledge by being duplicitous. And he cursed him. He said, when you will need this knowledge you will forget. It will not work for you. And it happened on the battle of Mahabharata, when he was fighting against Arjuna. And what happened? His wheel went into the earth. And he forgot. He could not pull his wheel out from that situation. And he was killed. He lost what he learned. So very important is to be simple. Who can be simple? One who is not having a desire for name, fame, glory. Now it is very difficult. And simplicity is next to Vaishnavism. Bhakti Saraswati Thakur said, Saralta hi Vaishnavata hai. Simplicity. Simplicity means speaking truth as it is, not trying to misrepresent it, or not trying to present it half, trying to use it in a way for one's own advantage or own favor. The next item is Ahiṁsā, non-violence. And this simplicity is mentioned that not only one should a particular order of life follow this principle, but every member, be he in brahmachari ashram, grihastha ashram, vanprasth or sannyas, one should be very simple and straightforward. Ahimsa means not arresting the progressive life of any living entities. One should not think that since the spirit spark is never killed, even after killing of the body, there is no harm in killing animals for sense gratification. So we should never think that and kill or harm anyone, thinking that the soul is immortal. People are now addicted to eating animals in spite of having an ample supply of grains, fruits, and milk. There is no necessity of killing animals. This injunction is for everyone. When there is no alternative, one may kill an animal, but it should be offered in sacrifice. At any rate, when there is ample food supply for humanity, persons who are desiring to make advancement in spiritual realization should not commit violence to animals. Real ahimsa means not checking anyone's progressive life. This is ahimsa. Not checking anyone's progression in life. The animals are also making progress in their evolutionary life by transmigrating from one category of animal life to another. If a particular animal is killed, then its progress is checked. If an animal is staying in a particular body for so many days or so many years and is ultimately killed, then he has to come back again in that form of life to complete the remaining days in order to be promoted to another species of life. So their progress should not be checked simply to satisfy one's plan. This is called Ahiṁsā. Okay, I will stop here. Tomorrow is Saturday and tomorrow is also Ekadashi. You all know, no? Tomorrow is Ekadashi. So sleep early, wake up early, try to chant more and try to chant with more attention and more absorption. Okay, I'll stop here. Any discussion or anything to share? Or any question or any doubt, please ask. Dānaṁ damascha yajñascha. Then Svādhyāyas Tapa Ārjavam. So we discussed these 6 qualities today. Ganesh Prabhu, you please call me. I gave you a message. Huh? You are hearing?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
One very important regulation, if you really want to have success in spiritual life, is to be able to take rest in time. Mode of passion does not allow that. Mode of passion means you will remain awake late and you will wake up late. Typical mode of passion. Mode of goodness means you will sleep in time and you will wake up in time. 16 round is what? It's like a butter. Butter. Why 16 round? You can chant more. But passion, 16 is very difficult. Very big number. Tomorrow is Ekadashi, minimum 25. So sleep in time, wake up early, chant the holy name. Okay, if there are no questions, so we will end. There is one good news. How many of you are really interested to go to Jagannath Puri? Really interested? Only 1%, Ganesh. Others are not. Manini Mataji, Ravindra Prabhu. Manish is not interested. Dolamani. There will be very few seats. Today I spoke to that devotee in Balasore. And by Krishna's mercy, he was very welcoming. He said, Prabhuji, आप please आइए. बोलिए आप सब किसी चीज की चिंता मत करिए. हम लोग सब arrange करते हैं. So then we do tickets for 16th of June. Okay, Ravindra Prabhu, when you come on Sunday, and Manish Prabhu, then you go and book ahead. You go and book on, you speak to me, and then you... Okay. It will be for very few people. Because, it is very difficult to arrange accommodation and other things. Everyone is welcome for Braj Yatra. The newcomers will come for Braj Yatra, but those who are actually hearing and following the process, for them only this is an exclusive Yatra. Those who are minimum chanting 16 rounds every day, following strictly the 4 regulative principles. So we will... And there will be a lot of rush also. There will be very inconvenience. Maybe, I don't know. We have to be prepared for the worst. What comes is bonus. I don't know. And I cannot assure you of anything. I don't know myself. Whether the weather will be difficult or whatever it may be, no one knows. Okay. So then we can have Lord Jagannath darshan on the Ratha. Rath Yatra also. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Manini Mataji, only 5 or 7 people from Odisha. Okay. Criteria, minimum 16 rounds daily. And Ekadashi 25. And those who are following 4 regulative principles strictly. So you decide. I will not allow Kuber to decide for this yatra. You decide who will come. And you please let me know.
Okay, Prabhuji.
To the booking.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam.